Chapter 4. Dr. Wilmore pronounced that Hardwick had only a slight chance of recovery, and under his directions the unconscious man was carried back to the Fox Inn. Meanwhile, George Cooks began to think that the death of Hardwick would make his position safer, for Hardwick knew too many ugly secrets, and he drank too much to keep them to himself. Also, if Hardwick died, Tom Spencer would either hang for it or flee the country, clearing the way for him to marry Phillis and end his financial troubles. Cooks even considered that he could bribe Dr. Wilmore to make sure that Hardwick would never recover. Nevertheless, he visited his former partner in crime so often at the Fox Inn that people began to revise their bad opinion of Cooks because of the concern he appeared to be showing. Tom Spencer was not arrested because he was too confined to bed with his wound, which turned out to be more severe than it appeared at first. His condition was aggravated by his anxiety and remorse, and became almost as critical as Hardwick's. Phyllis was greatly distressed about Tom, especially as Dr. Wilmore forbade her to visit him. The doctor's precautions were fruitless, however. For 2 weeks after the fight, a coffin bearing the name of Tom Spencer was buried in the graveyard of St. Stephen's Chapel, attended by all the Spencer family and friends. Shortly afterwards, Henry Hardwick was reported to have suffered a sudden relapse, and his body was driven off by night by Tony Bates from the Fox Inn, to be buried at Upton Snodsbury, where he came from. The way was open now for George Cooks to court and marry Phyllis, and he sent letters to her through Tony Bates and her maid, Mattie. But Phyllis gave him no encouragement, and her uncle forbade him to visit Lowndes Hill Farm. The thought kept on returning to haunt her that Tom had died receiving his fatal wound in her defence, and she was full of remorse for her unkind words to him on the night of the party. She now realised, when it was too late, the depth of her affection towards Tom, and she could not respond to any other suitor. Not content to wait, Cooks hit on a plan to influence Phyllis in his favour. She had become a patient of Dr. Wilmore because her grief had affected her health, and she welcomed the doctor's visits when they often spoke about Tom. Aware of the doctor's skill in the mystic sciences, she hinted that she longed to see Tom once again, as he had been in life, and that she would pay him handsomely if he could make this possible. The doctor warned her about the dangers of conjuring the spirits of the dead, but she insisted that she would obey his instructions to the full. Finally, the doctor agreed to try and raise Tom's spirit, telling her, "Such art as I have shall be at your command."